Hi guys, this is Mark Shawson, the Pattern Trader. There's always been this ongoing debate whether fundamental analysis prevails over technical analysis. And then there's also been another secondary discussion as to whether technical analysis, which is the analysis of price action and price patterns, if it works at all. And my answer is whatever you're using, it should have an edge. But then there's also the X factor that nothing works in perpetuity. Things go in stages, markets go in stages. Life is a process, as is the market. So there was a comedian in the 1980s, a brilliant guy, and with a deadpan delivery, and I can't deliver a joke as well as he had, but he kind of had this joke where he goes to a store, and outside the store it has a sign. It says open 24 hours. He goes to the door and it's locked. He comes back a little later and he goes to the store clerk. What gives? You have a sign out there. It says open 24 hours. And the guy says, yeah, but not in a row. So, again, sometimes the market's not open. Or the metaphor is sometimes the market is not ripe for your trading strategy. And just because it's not a fertile environment, it doesn't mean that your trading strategy doesn't work. Perhaps the best example of that, I had a string of trades last year where the market was just in an explosive mode. And last May, I looked at a double bottom price pattern in Facebook, the stock FB, when it was trading at 150, and based on certain patterns I was seeing in the market then, and also comparing to a similar pattern I saw in another trade 3 years earlier, I surmised that this was going to go up very quickly. And on the heels of that analysis, I put on some trades, and I made about $500,000 in a week and a half. And then the very next week, I looked at another price pattern in Tesla, which suggested that the stock was going to go down very robustly. I bought some put options, and Tesla dropped $25, and I made almost $1 million in a week and a half. So just in a short period of time, I made like $1.5 million on 2 trades. Now, the irony is both those trades are still going in the direction that I saw last year. So recently, at about the $125 price level, Facebook put on a huge double bottom. And on the basis of that, I think it is going to go higher. But it's been sitting around for the last month or so only because the market is in a consolidation phase. The market shot up over 20% in a short period of time. And now logic would suggest that we're just going to go sideways, which it is. And so I think that Facebook is going to go higher. But if I employed the same very aggressive call option strategy I did last year, it probably wouldn't work. Now, the same thing is going on in Tesla, where I see these gigantic bear price patterns suggesting that over the long term, Tesla is headed nowhere but down. And, I did suggest to our members to short it last week at 291. It's trading at about 282 right now. But it's not breaking in the same way, the same aggressive style that it did in the middle of last year, where I made $25 on the stock and a bunch of money on the options because it went in a direction so quickly. So just because Tesla and Facebook are hanging around, don't look like they're doing much, it doesn't mean that the strategy doesn't work. It's only the environment that's changed. And so why this is important is so many times I'll suggest a trade and it goes up very quickly, and on the heels of that, a whole bunch of people sign up. They get very excited. And then after they sign up, then perhaps nothing happens. Perhaps a string of losing trades come by. And then they get very disenchanted, and then they go on and look for the next holy grail, only to find that a couple months later, I've made $1 million somewhere else. And so again, if that's your inclination to be like a squirrel, kind of popping in and out, looking for the next best great thing, nothing is really going to work for you. You have to kind of find something that makes sense to you. So whether you look at my approach or you look at anybody else, the first thing you have to ask yourself, does that make sense to you? And if it does, you have to understand that it may take some time. When I was managing, huge multi-million dollar accounts, I used to say to my clients, I usually make money in 6 weeks of the year. I just really never know which six of the weeks of the year it's going to be. And so you could have a situation where maybe 3 weeks or 3 months go by. You're just watching things go up and down. You're not making much progress, and then you're inclined to opt out just before I go on a huge run. And so that's the bottom line. You have to evaluate something. Does it make sense? And then you have to have the discipline and the commitment to stick with it over the long run. And guess what? Whether it's mine or somebody else's, if you don't have that, nothing is likely to work for you. You should just give up and get a job. So fortunately, I don't have to get a job. And it's that lifestyle that's been afforded to me through trading. It took me 3 decades to figure it out. I made my fair share of mistakes. And so this is what I try and do at the Pattern Trader, where I highlight opportunities, but also point out where the potholes are. So hopefully you guys who get it, understand it. And for those of you who don't, then, I understand that also. So with that said, I hope you have a great trading day, and I'll speak to you next time.